Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Toon Review for our New Year's Eve match review of Manchester United 0, Newcastle United 2. And it seems like a lot of Newcastle United fans are still on cloud 9, and it seems like most of the Man United fans are on cloud minus 109. They are really down in the dumps today, and if anybody's watched any of the fan channels, you'll see how much they are in the dumps at the minute, and in a lot of bother, shall we say. But listen, we're all about Newcastle United and the performance yesterday, which was absolutely superb. I think that first 20, 30 minutes were just fantastic to watch. Absolutely fantastic to watch. Anyway, if you do enjoy today's show, as usual, guys, please give it the thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel and you like what you see, we are rapidly heading towards 35k. So please do hit that subscribe button. It is free to do so. But don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload or a live show. And of course, you can support the channel in the usual two ways. Membership, which is the join button just underneath the three of us. And of course, super chats are available. That is the $ under the live chat, and that'll guarantee your comment to be read out live on the show. And of course, a massive thank you to our sponsors, Mamaroo Records, based in Whitley Bay. If you're ever around that area, pop in and see Steve right in the town centre for all your vinyl music, your CDs, your music merchandise, sporting merchandise, and of course, gift cards as well. If you're unable to get into the store, check them out online. Their link is pinned at the top of the description. Tell Steve you're a TTR viewer, and he will do you a very, very good deal. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon. Good New Year's Eve afternoon to the Magpie Massive out there in Viewerland. That was a bit of a mouthful.
It is. It's very strange going on at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I have to say. But, we know a lot of people will be out for specific beverages tonight, including the pair of you two, no doubt. So we had to go on a little bit early and get this done because, well, we could not do a review. I mean, that would be absolutely shocking given the performance yesterday. But Alex, I don't know whether you've seen Miggy Almiron. Apparently, there's a formal bid come in from a Brazilian side. Craig Hope reporting that in the last hour.
A Brazilian side? I had not seen that. I'd been getting ready, so no. I knew that the whole Charlotte FC thing had legitimate legs from what we can sort of figure out from journalists. I didn't realize there was. I mean, that's great. That's great because there might be more than one club that want him. So that may be a lot more critical than people think. That could squeeze an extra £1, £2, £3 million out of the deal, which could help sweeten a new contract, or it could have positive implications in other areas. So it's really, really important if we could get even a little bit more for him.
Billy, it certainly looks like Miggy is the first one that will probably be leaving the club. As long as we get some decent money for him, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, Olympiacos' name's been pushed into the frame as well.
I've seen that as well, yeah.
And a nice little bidding war won't go amiss for me. Can we squeeze £15 million for him? Who knows? But 15 million then becomes 45 million.
Yeah,
in the amortization stakes, isn't it? So
yeah. Are you reading anything into Longstaff not coming on the last couple of games, Billy? Given that he's been linked with a move away as well.
The thing is, Sean Longstaff, for us to make any money out of it, we'll have to sign a new contract.
He has. He's had it extended. It was confirmed. I've seen it on X earlier on today that Newcastle did extend it to next year.
Right. So if it's extended, then yeah, maybe. There's no space for him in Newcastle United because Lewis Miley now being fit. The three midfielders is never going to displace any of them. So yeah, maybe he's on his way.
Yeah. Dominic Harvey is a new member of the channel. Thank you very much, Dominic. Saw your message at the start of the show as well. Thank you very much, mate. Chippers sends in a super chat and says all the best to everyone for 2025. Thank you for a cracking 2024. Samsonite Dove, thank you. Happy New Year to everyone and keep up the good work, guys. How are the lads and lasses? Ken Robinson says, Happy New Year, Paul, Billy and Alex. Word I can't remember using, but first 30 minutes yesterday was scintillating. Sorry for the capitals, but wanted to shout it out. Hey, you're very welcome to shout it out, matey, because it was. Miley is apparently a class above Sean Longstaff, says LG. Julie says, give over with selling Sean. Need homegrown players. Need 6 for midfield cover anyway. Yeah, but if they're going to spend it, if they're going to use the money they get for Sean to bring in other players, Julie, they could, and better players than Sean, then it's certainly an option, Alex, isn't it?
No, yes, no.
I know you're in the middle about selling Longstaff. I know you're kind of on the fence.
The rules. I think the rules are stupid. The rules are encouraging people to sell homegrown talent. I think it's ridiculous that you're trying so hard to push and improve academies, improve the footballing ability of the region, and to give youngsters opportunities. Ultimately, for the final goal to be you get sold somewhere else because it's better for the club. That's ridiculous. That's counterintuitive. It's not how it was meant to work. It's a byproduct of the rules been written poorly by a bunch of people on far too much money, who should know better. They need a rejig in that. And I quite frankly don't want to lose Sean as a result of because we just get way more profit to use for further players. I think he's homegrown, trained at club. He's peak age. He understands the club and the system really, really well, despite having limitations and a ceiling that's not as high as somebody like Bruno and Tonali. He has a use, and I think he's worth being involved in the squad, especially if we're looking at consistently being in European football. I mean, all things considered, how things are going at the moment with this season, I think we would be unlucky not to finish the season with some kind of European football again. We should have had it last season. It was a fluke that we didn't. We should have been in the Conference League. So we need a big enough squad, and we need somebody who knows everything. And Sean is that. And it's just a case of if we could get 20 odd million for him, it's 20 million that we can put solely into new investments. There's no issues with amortization and all that nonsense. So I'm really on the fence about it. I would like to see Sean stay. We've already had to let go of Elliot Anderson as well. And what people don't realise is our academy's not in good enough shape yet, where the homegrown trained at club thing is been sorted. We've done really well at academy recruitment in recent years, and we've got a couple of really promising players coming through, but it's not ready yet. For people who have been long-standing watchers of the channel, you can't just, you can't hatch them out of eggs, whatever I said. You can't fix 10 years of academy neglect in 3 years.
Yeah, it was something along the lines of hatching academy players out of eggs, which, whatever you want to make of that, I guess. Alex's very special quotes, of course. Rafia Benissian says, also we have two midfielders on loan, Joe White and Jamie Lewis. I think you mean Jamie Miley. Lewis's older brother, could be in the squad next year. So Sean will go down the order even more. Julie says Miley is one of the 6 chippers. Alan says, good afternoon, folks. All the best for you for 2025. Mike says, Happy New Year, Paul, Billy, Alex, and Lady Sam. When it comes, all the best for 25. LG says, PSR was to stop us, not to help us. PJ says, all the best for the new year, everyone, and what an amazing end to 2024. Long may it continue. Chipper says, I think Miley will progress when Longstaff goes. He will get more minutes and can do more roles than Longstaff.
If Longstaff goes, Chippers.
If. Yes. Just make sure you keep saying if, because Alex doesn't like it when you say when he's gone.
Well, when we're talking about Joe White coming in and challenging, let's not beat around the bush. His loans have been at League 2 clubs.
Yes.
So that you can't all be Elliot Anderson. I do like Joe White. He's left-footed. He's looked competent. He looked okay in pre-season in bits. As did Jamie Miley. Jamie Miley looked fantastic.
Yeah.
But Joe White's 22. So none of this free registration nonsense. He's 22. He's getting to the point now where he's a senior men's football player. When he comes back from MK Dons, this is it. This is sink or swim now.
Yep.
As is Jamie Miley, because I'm pretty sure Jamie's the oldest as well. So he's no spring chicken either.
Tim says, with amortization, could that fund a purchase for someone like Wembo?
What does he mean?
Amortization is too much of a big word for me to use at 4 o'clock in the afternoon on New Year's Eve.
Amortization, Paul,
It's a huge word. Tangy says, I agree with Alex, but with Longstaff, he isn't going to get any better. It's time for him to leave.
It doesn't matter about him not getting any better, though. What's wrong with having a competent squad player? Do you want... We're not in a position where we're Man City and we can have somebody who is a Champions League quality player on the bench. We haven't got the money for that. We can't go and buy another Tonali and have him on the bench ready.
But LG makes a good point there, Alex. Is we can't keep everyone, and the thing is, if we're going to bring in better players than Longstaff, then maybe I know he's homegrown, and that's a very important side of things is being homegrown. But yeah, you know, I don't know. I'm not 100% myself on that. But again, time will tell. It all depends on what Newcastle United want to do. You know, if they've got plans for bringing in some players in January and players leaving, then, you know, we have to respect that at the end of the day. Chipper says, and also for Longstaff to be effective, he needs to play 5 to 10 games on the trot for his energy. He won't get it here. Well, I mean, Billy, last night, I mean, you know, our midfield three completely dominated the game. It was, and I said at the end, I think we've got one of the best midfields in the Premier League right now. And I saw Alice last night said the same thing. She believes that those three are probably up there with the best in the Premier League right now.
Well, I can't think of anyone better as a three, to be perfectly honest. And they were totally mismatched against the two that Manchester United had in there, Casemiro and Eriksen.
Yeah.
Despite being fantastic players 5 to 10 years ago, are now well past the best. Have no legs, have no pace, have no energy, and it showed on the pitch. It was men against granddads. If you like.
Yeah, it was men against granddads. Totally overran them. Simon Muller sends in a super chat saying that moment Tonali nutmegs the ref. Spike Milligan says happy and healthy New Year to the hosts, mods, and the TTR family. And Johnny with the super chat says happy New Year, lads. All the best. And to you, Johnny. The first 20, 30 minutes, Alex, probably the best we've seen from Newcastle United in a very long time, just improving to the point where we just overran them yesterday. They couldn't get the ball off us. And when they did get the ball, they were instantly hounded. I think Goldbridge called us like a swarm of wasps every time they got the ball. They just couldn't do anything with it because there was no passes on. We just cut everything out and completely dominated.
Yeah, it was really, really naive from Amorim. It was a really, considering how highly he's rated, and also considering how much Eddie Howe has been bashed for his tactical nous. He took him to the cleaners in the first half an hour quite comfortably. Yeah. The man-for-man marking, he used Jacob Murphy. That basically we pressed the man-for-man in a 3-4-3. Jacob Murphy being the extra man. It was dangerous, but we've got competent enough players to do it. Fabian Schär and Byrne getting tight to players. Trippier was really important. Bruno going and joining that sort of first line of press as well. And they didn't really know what to do. And if they tried to play it wide, Jacob Murphy or Lewis Hall were ready to snap and literally snap. Everything was so well drilled. So much so that after 30 minutes, Amorim went, oh, okay, yeah, this is really bad. This is not working at all. We're getting completely destroyed. And I think the media have not done us credit either. A lot of people have referenced, they were just, the reason it didn't work, Casemiro and Eriksen, is because they were outnumbered in midfield. I think that's doing us an injustice because there were several moments, especially for the second goal, where Bruno and Tonali played through the midfield on their own. Just the two of them. 1-2 passes. It wasn't that they were outnumbered. Even if you put 2 on 2, we were just better. Yeah. Tactically, I think the first half an hour, they were completely outthought. Ridiculous from Amorim to play Martinez when he's got Lenny Yoro on the bench, to captain him, to not understand the press, to not adapt it. He played the wrong team. Way too long in adapt. The game was gone. The game was done in the first half an hour. He was dead and buried. They were lucky they went 4-0 down. So I think Amorim needs to take some responsibility for that. A lot of Manchester United fans are only willing to sort of point the finger at the players and say, oh, he needs to be backed. He needs to be backed. I mean, you spent 200 million in the summer. Don't care if it was from a different manager. That's nobody's problem. That's your own problem. And Amorim needs to take responsibility because he got that so tactically wrong that he lost the game. And he had personnel on the bench. He had different options. He could have played Lenny Yoro, who's fit, 6'3". I don't think he gets.
He looked really good when he came on. Actually, he probably looked a standout player. Yeah. William Brooks talking about Southgate getting knighted. Don't get me started. Don't get me started. Disgusting. When you've got somebody like Kevin Seinfeld as well, Billy, you like your rugby, don't you? And all he's done to raise funds for of course, his good mate who passed away in motor neuron disease, running all these marathons and doing all this fundraising, doesn't even get a look in. And Gareth Southgate, for services to football, what in God's fucking earth has he done for services to football? He's failed at club management. He was lucky with England to get as far as he did playing the football he did, and he gets a knighthood. What on earth is this world coming to, Billy?
It's more the company he's now keeping as knighted England managers. He's now put on the same pedestal as Sir Alf Ramsey, Sir Walter Winterbottom, Sir Bobby Robson.
He's not in the same category as those guys. Not in the same category.
Of course he's not. And I would say that there's more deserving football men or women deserve gongs more than Gareth Southgate, despite all the things he did results-wise for England.
It's only results. He was gifted the golden generation.
It's just
and he got there through what? Slovakia, Ukraine, Sweden.
100%.
There was only one time we beat a competent team to get to a final, and that was the Germany team that was in bits a few years ago. He would, considering what we were given, we had the Bundesliga Player of the Season, Premier League Player of the Season, La Liga Player of the Season. He was given one of the best teams, and given easy draws as well. So,
and every time we played someone half competent, we got beat by.
Yeah, we looked bad.
Yeah, of course we did. Yeah, just look that we got to where we did. You know, you look at the football we played; it was terrible, and he's got a knighthood. It's. I mean, we're just rewarding people for failure. It's a disgrace. Anyway, we have Debs with a super chat. It's my birthday. Best present ever last night. Happy birthday, Debs. Hope you're having a cracking day. Geordie Nick, welcome to Members Club. Thank you very much for signing up and your continued support. Carl's been a member for 18 months now. Thanks, hosts and mods, for all the shows this year, and a happy new year to everyone. Jens says, can we be unhappy with only 2-0, but happy enough? Jens, I know you said it on the live show last night that you were a little bit sort of disappointed with 2-0, but listen, the manner of the performance for me, it was, I said it on my reaction that I thought was very much Newcastle did a job in two different ways. They absolutely destroyed them in the first half, and second half was a very professional performance, seeing the game out and on your bike, go home. Simple as that. And with the games coming up, I guess, we just led them. Just gave them the ball and said, Alice put it perfectly actually on her show last night. She said, Newcastle just gave us the ball and said, right, try and score, because Newcastle know we're shit and we won't score. So Newcastle just took the foot off the gas and just saw the game out. Yvonne, thanks all TTR people. Love you and our team. Next year will be the best of the best. Let's hope so. Right, let's hear from a few people from last night. First of all, the manager, and he spoke to NUFC TV after the game.
Yeah, we did, especially in that first half. I mean, it was an electric start for us for half an hour. I thought we were really good. I think you can look at different games at different opportunities. Every game is very difficult in the Premier League. The standard's so high, you make one mistake, you get punished. So it looks like a routine win 2-0, but it wasn't. It was hard work. We had to get all the details right, and I was really pleased with the sorry about that. I was really pleased with the start of the game, because scoring here early and bringing our intention to the game is so important. So well done to the players for delivering that.
You talk about the details. I mean, what sort of details? What did you get so right tonight?
Well, you have to get everything right. Off the ball, on the ball, you have to get your structure correct. And as I say, the players have to be ready to take this moment, an opportunity that we presented, or that was here tonight. And that's in any game. Every game's an opportunity to win. That's how we look at it. But you've got to bring your best selves to do it. And too many times this season we've conceded the first goal and made it difficult for us. Lately, we've been the beneficiary of that. We've been the team starting with the right intention, and we benefited from that today.
The interview was done right in front of a few Newcastle fans who'd stopped back and were really cheering for Eddie and waving at him constantly. You could see in the interview he was waving back at them and things like that. It was great to see. A very happy Eddie Howe, Billy.
And why not? I mean, it's not every day that we go to Old Trafford and destroy a Manchester United side. I keep
Yeah.
saying it once since 1973, the one victory since 1973, which is now 2. And seriously, 2-0 flat Man United.
Well, it did, and I think that's what Eddie was alluding to as well, Alex. That we didn't take our foot off the gas in the first half. We kept trying to score more and more goals, and we probably would have, had some fortune not gone Manchester United's way. Tonali off the post, Isak with his one-on-one, which I don't know what's going on with Isak and one-on-ones, but it could have been so much more. They could have been 4 or 5 down at half time, and it wouldn't have been flattering for us at all.
No, definitely not. I think if you go and watch that interview back for Eddie Howe, I think there were a few moments, especially when you watch his face, where he has to pause and his eyes roll around because he's trying to choose different words. I think there was moments when he had to stop himself saying, it was easy. We did destroy them. The game plan was perfect. They were poor. There were so many moments where you could see where he was trying to be politically correct, because it was an open and shut case. And I think the first sort of 30 to 35 minutes, we just sort of gently lent the foot on their throat and just wouldn't let go. There was nothing they could do about it. Absolutely nothing they could do about it. It's like when you've got long arms and you've got someone up against there, they just can't do anything about it. That's what we had them at arm's length for 35 minutes, and they were very, very lucky they were only 2-0 down. It should have been 4 or 5, really. Isak one-on-ones, don't know what's going on there. Tonali off the post, like you mentioned.
Considering the guy's got bags of talent, he's a fantastic footballer. How I just don't know what goes on.
Yeah, it was an open and shut case. It was. It's probably the easiest performance we will ever have against Manchester United. All they needed to do. I say all they needed to do. It's just what they've been doing for the last 3 weeks. They've got the blueprint. They've got the game plan. We've done some man-for-man pressing before. We've come up against similar systems before. We're in better form. Everybody's fit. Everybody's firing. And it was, go there, lads. Do more of the same. You know what the game plan is. It's tried and tested. They're very well versed in that. And they had no answer. It didn't help that Amorim turned up with the wrong game plan, with basically the wrong team, just everything, poor.
They went with the old people's home in midfield, which was quite funny. Jens, another super chat. My big worry now is no Fabian Schär for the next 2 games. He'll miss the league game, and he's already suspended, of course, for the first leg of the Carabao Cup. But it gives somebody else an opportunity to step in, and that's exactly what we need to do. The Footy Channel Groundhopper, of course, Tony. Happy New Year, TDR, and a great result. Thanks, mate. DJ says, love how there is at least 10 TalkSport videos about Man United's downfall and issues, with literally no mention about how scintillating we were. Absolute clowns. Well, of course. We're used to that now. Just 100%. And TalkSport are a bunch of clowns, the lot of them. And they really are a pathetic radio station now. Nobody. I don't know who listens to them anymore. Because if you listen to fan channels, they all say the same. From whatever club it is, they all despise TalkSport. It's just ridiculous. Anyway, one guy that was outstanding last night, or one of them, was Joe Linton, and he spoke to NUFC TV after the game last night.
Great win here after a long time to put the team back here and win a game in the Premier League. It's a great feeling, and for us and for the fans that are supporting us everywhere we go.
How aware were the players of that record, of the team's record in the past year? How much was it used as motivation?
Yeah, we knew it. I've been here 5.5 years already. Have a difficult games here. The fans have difficult time here as well, and to come here today and play a good football and get the 3 points, this is a great feeling, and we just have to keep going now.
The form you were in going into the game, how confident were you, and how did you take it into the game?
Yes, very confident. I think everyone is play with a lot of confidence, is play well. But we know we have to keep our ground, our feet on the ground, and be humble and work hard, because it's not his game, and you have to protect the confidence now and keep, because it's the same way it's come it can go, and we have to be focused on the next game.
A very happy Joe Linton, Billy, and rightly so. But what I loved about that was when he was asked about, the players and having to keep up the pace for every single game, and they knew the record going into the match at Old Trafford. They wanted to put that right. So the players are aware of a lot before they even get on the pitch, really.
Yeah, of course they are, and that's part of Eddie Howe's job, I guess. To kind of keep them educated in how things have been in the past and how things need to be changed to fans. And they did that perfect last night. One thing, Joe Linton's voice, you wouldn't put it with his beastly monster body, would you?
He sounds Asian, like Japanese or Chinese.
He sounds very camp to me, very high pitched voice.
No, it's the Portuguese language. It's because there's a lot of.
I wouldn't say camp, Billy. Camp's a little bit harsh.
No, he's very high pitched.
I'd say he sounded more sort of Japanese, Chinese with his accent, but he's just.
It's Portuguese.
The man's a god. Just put it that way. He's my favorite player. And, people who watch this channel, when Joe Linton first came to the club, well, like a lot of Newcastle fans, slated him. But that's just the absolute star of the man, that he's now my favorite Newcastle player. I just love the way he plays the game. I love his physicality. I love his tenacity. And his love for Newcastle is clear when he gets interviewed, Alex.
Well, he's had a very deep personal transformation at the club as well. Yeah. Several years ago, you've obviously got to remember that Bruno wasn't at the club. So he was kind of maybe isolated in a social aspect as well as a footballing aspect. And that's just me kind of guessing there. I'm sure maybe he had some friends behind the scenes. I don't know. Maybe when Fernandez was still at the club, I don't know. But he's gone through this transformation of refining and honing his own physical attributes and technical attributes to suit the game and the club more. And he's sort of undergone this physical monster transformation, as well as then getting some more competent players at the club. And he's progressed his own game. He's got Bruno there, who obviously best man at each other's weddings. I think it was both weddings, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So he's got sort of a really important best friend and social group, as well as really enjoying his football. He's an integral part of the team, and he's a really unique profile of player as well. And he's been through. He's a bit like Fabian Schär in that he's been here for a very, very long time now. He understands. He really understands.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's been through their downs. Like we were dunzos, and he thought he was probably dunzos as well at the top. You can imagine if it didn't work for him, he was maybe going to get a move somewhere. I mean, think of the other strikers that have gone and disappeared that have played for us. Think of your Rivières and your Mutos, and he's
why you have to give him so much credit for what he's done for since he's been at the club. It's quite astounding.
His career could have gone down the toilet. So
yeah, absolutely. Paul World says, with his shorts pulled up all the way, Big Joe loves his own thighs. That's one for the ladies. That man, clearly one for the ladies. I just love the way he kissed the badge after he scored yesterday as well. Just absolutely fantastic from Joe Linton. Right, before we do the player ratings, we're going to hear from Alexander Isak as well. He spoke to Sky last night after the game, and then we'll put a poll up for man of the match as well. So this is what our Swedish magician had to say after the game last night, talking to Sky.
Thank you. No, it feels great. We haven't won in a long time here, and I think it was a great performance for us and a perfect way to end this year.
What do you think was key to it, Alexander? We've spoken in here about the huge difference between the two sides in the first stages of the game, really the first half an hour.
I think, focusing on us, I think our intensity was really, really good. We started off the game really well. We pressed high, regains and counter-attacks. So I think that was the challenge, to have the same intensity here as we do when we play at home. And I think especially the first half was really good, and it paid off as well with 2 goals, and we could have scored more.
Alexander, in the past, Newcastle have had a poor record away at Manchester United. But was the huge confidence and belief you just mentioned about the fact that you pressed high, you were on the front foot, you're really confident going into the game?
I think we've been much better lately, even playing away from home. the challenge the whole season has always been to play with the same intensity, home and away. And I think we've done that in the last weeks. So I think we've been consistent in our performance, both home and away, which is great to see.
Again, Billy, he mentions the home and away thing that a lot of the players have said it, in the last few weeks, which seems to have, coincided with the turnaround. There was a few players came out before the winning streak started and said about the intensity, the way to play away as they do at home. They know it was an issue, and he's mentioned it there again. And since all the players have come out and said this, there's been a real turnaround.
I mean, this isn't just this season. I mean, this happened last season where we didn't press away from home. It's something we did in the Champions League qualifying season, and because of the amount of games and injuries we didn't do last season. Yeah. This year we haven't got the amount of games, and because of that we haven't got the injuries. So, yeah, why not? Why shouldn't you play the same away from home as what you do at home? Yeah, it's all about energy and fitness at the end of the day, and we've got plenty of that.
Alex, he's in a very confident mood, Alexander Isak, and I know he missed a one-on-one, but he's literally scoring every time he's on the pitch.
Yeah, I mean it's a really good setup for him. Like everybody further back on the pitch is playing really well. He's getting a lot of service from Hall and Gordon on the left. He gets long balls fired over to him, whether it's Fabian Schär, Bruno, if Trippier's playing. He'll get sort of long balls, he'll get crosses from both sides, or he'll get intricate, sort of technical engineered dinks over the top or little through balls by Bruno Tonali, even Joe Linton at times. So he's getting so much variety of service that he's the kind of player he is. He's getting so many opportunities and so many chances, and he should maybe have done better. He's been given a lot, and this is a perfect kind of position for a striker like him to thrive. And he himself deserves a lot of credit for some improvements to his game. He did a lot of physical work yesterday that I was impressed with. The ball was fired into him with players around him, and he managed to keep the ball more often than he was doing at the start of the season. I think he was protecting the ball a lot better. Doesn't necessarily go down as a dual one, but he was just a lot more sensible with it. And then some of the channel runs and link up. Yeah, just fantastic. He's in the perfect team for him right now. I think a move would be stupid for him. I think the sort of price he is, nobody can afford him anyway. But as a 25-year-old who's absolutely purring at the moment in this setup, it's perfect for him to go and thrive.
Sky had a lot to say about when Kobbie Mainoo came on, saying that he changed the game. I completely disagree with that because we were 2-0 up when Kobbie Mainoo came on. We were cruising, and we were still cruising for the rest of the half. Listen, Mainoo played well for Manchester United, but he certainly wasn't a game changer at all.
It's because Xerxes a forward, and they brought on a physical.
I felt so sorry for Xerxes. And by the way, the Man United fans cheering when that is absolutely shocking from a set of supporters. That is, by the way, absolutely disgusting.
Well, it shows the footballing knowledge because Xerxes is actually not a bad player at all. If there were a lot of people who watched,
he's a striker and he's played nowhere near a striker, Alex.
No, well, but Bologna were a very interesting team last year. We did a lot of deep dives into Bologna because of Calafiori and because of Xerxes. They were the standout team. They were the anomaly. They were really, really outperforming everybody in Serie A. They were doing great. And Xerxes is a really good player. He's a young player who's just moved to a club in turmoil.
Well,
and people are criticising him.
Although, to be fair,
Hoyland's another one. They're both really good. You just need to use them properly and let them grow.
Yeah, I mean, Amarin had some lovely things to say about Xerxes as well after the game, which was nice. I like him as a manager, actually. I just think he's walked into a shit show.
Absolutely.
Just an absolute shit show. Nick Thornton says, Happy New Year, Paul, Billy, Alex, and Lady Sam, and everyone in this amazing community. How are the lads? Coach Austin says, no one questioning Bruno's captaincy since our winning streak because he's leading by example. He wasn't before. That's why. And I know Alice put stats up about the difference when Kobbie Mainoo came on, but you have to remember what the score was, and we already blew them away. They had a few more chances when Mainoo was on the pitch, but it doesn't matter. It just does not matter. Anyway, before we do the player ratings,
I'll just say about Amman before we go any further.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think he's awful. I'll be honest with you. Okay. When you go into a job like the Man United job, you may have your own ideas about how you want to play the game, But when you go into a job with players that you don't know, you have to adapt to what you already got, and not try and make them do something they can't do. To me, it's making Man United worse.
Well, possibly, yes, but at the same time, definitely. Those players haven't done it for Manchester United now for various different managers. They haven't, and when they've been played in different formations, they still don't get it right. It's a lot to do with the players there.
I think they were hoping that there was going to be a revival.
Yeah,
if you look at when Conte first went in at Chelsea and implemented wing backs, and they absolutely flourished, but they'd got a slightly different profile of personnel and better quality of personnel as well, and they were willing to adapt. And I think they were maybe hoping that they were going to come in and there was going to be a rebirth of, oh my God, Rashford's going to be a wing back and Anthony's suddenly going to be a reborn wing back.
He's done at Manchester United now, isn't he?
It's not happened. I think people vastly overestimate the quality of the players, and just the competency of the club as a whole, whether it's coaches or just anything.
But what he should have done is gone in there and just played some system that kind of fits the one place he's got. And then as the transfer windows come and by, he can then muddle into how he wants to play. But you can't just go in and put your foot down and play that way when you haven't got any players at anywhere near that kind of level.
You need somebody like Rafa Benitez. Right, not him specifically, because they'd hate him, 100%. But you need that kind of manager to go in and assess it.
Let's be fair. We don't give a shit.
No, absolutely not.
All right? We don't give a shit.
May keep doing it.
Goldbridge last night, he was a Newcastle fan, sent him a super chat and said, are you going to praise Newcastle at all? And he was like, this is a Manchester United channel with 2 million subscribers. I don't care about Newcastle United. Well, this is a channel with 34,000 subscribers, Mark, and we couldn't give a fucking toss about Manchester United. There you go. Right, let's do player of the match poll before we start doing our player ratings. Alex, who's your player of the match to go onto the vote?
Dan Burn.
Oh, nice. Nice. Billy?
Jolinton.
Okay.
Can we, is it okay? Can we discuss why we've put them in the poll before people start voting? So or do you want them to vote without our influence? How do you want to do it?
I think we should do it without our influence, Alex, because I don't want to,
We'll just put the names forward, then we'll let people make a decision.
Yeah. I'm going for Bruno. I thought he was just mentally outstanding yesterday. Right.
Sorry, who did you go for?
Sorry?
Who did Billy go for?
Jolinton.
Jolinton, okay. So Burn, Jolinton.
And Bruno. And now we need to come up with a fourth between us.
Lewis Hall.
Oh God.
Anthony Gordon.
Yeah, I mean, there's Hall, there's Gordon, there's Isak.
That's why we do need 6, 7 options just on.
I hate that we only have 4 options. It's mental. Maybe we should get a website started with the player ratings like the United Stand have. They've got a player ratings thing on their website.
Yeah.
So
anybody does website design or anything in the chat, email
tell us how
to
do
vote
it.
system.
Yeah.
4th, maybe.
Oh dear.
I mean, it's between Isak, Gordon, and Hall, isn't it? It's one of those 3.
Yeah.
A lot of the fans are saying Hall in the chat, so we'll go with Lewis Hall.
Yeah,
and I think deservedly so.
Sorted out his 1-on-1.
Yeah. So there you go, guys. Player of the match, you've got Dan Burn, Jolinton, Bruno, or Lewis Hall. We will come to that at the end of the show. We're going to move on to our player ratings now, and this should be very interesting, as it always is, of course. It's I mean, we've had a breeze with the player ratings over the last few weeks, guys. I mean, it's been an absolute walk in the park for these player ratings. I'm yet to put them onto a proper spreadsheet, which I need to start doing. Otherwise, I'm going to have a very long time putting all of these on at the end of the season. So Manchester United away. And then we've got Bilbo. We've got Alex. And we've got moi. Okay, Martin Dubravka, Billy.
I want to give him an 8 out of 10. Again, he's had nothing to do but what he did do. Commanded the box. Covered the header from Maguire that hit the post.
Yeah.
I thought he was competent, as always, and his distribution is second to none.
Yeah,
so I'm going to give him an 8. I've been giving him 7s and 6s. But I think his distribution last night and a big pitch at Old Trafford was fantastic. So I'm going to give him an 8.
Yeah. Carol Harris, thank you for being a member on the channel for 32 months now. Thank you very much for your support. All the best, lads, and to the chat. Dubravka, Alex?
He gets an 8 from me as well.
Look at the pain, Billy, in his face. He's had to do this now
I'll explain why. Go
on.
His passing and his coolness under pressure was fantastic.
Yeah,
he was there were so many situations where if it was Nick Pope, we'd have been just terrified looking through hands. And he played it so well. His technical ability with the ball and understanding the opposition press, brilliant at playing us out from the back. He's brilliant at it. I just wish he could do other things. I think it was Dom Skur who pointed out today, Dubravka has the same amount of clean sheets as he does saves in the last 4 fixtures. So it's 4 clean sheets, 4 saves, because we are doing such a fantastic job of protecting that man. So before people get too high up on that mountain and that hill, we are super protecting him. He's still doing fantastic when he's called upon.
Yeah.
There are a few journalists out there as well that are telling people that they have to be happy with Dubravka and they have to like him now. No, he has a winner's medal for Manchester United. That is a deal breaker for me. I still want him gone. I appreciate his contributions at the moment and how impressive his technical ability is, but he has a winner's medal for people that we don't like. And that,
I mean, Alex, I think you need to move on from that, mate. I mean, it was a long time ago now.
I would rather he moved on.
Okay.
Than me. I will love the club. He will not. He will go and play for different teams. I will never go and support a different team. It's not my job to love Newcastle. It's just something I do. Okay. He will leave and
well, I've gone 8.5. I thought he was superb last night. Not for save making in general, but having said that, if you look at the Harry Maguire header that hit the post, he had that covered. If that was going inside the post, his hand was there. He would have saved that, which would have been an absolutely unbelievable save from that sort of distance. So but what got me was his catching, his coming for crosses, his distribution was superb. I mean, the little chips out to Lewis Hall were incredible, and to the other side. Yep. And he very rarely, there was a couple of kicks went astray, but 8 out of 10 times he was finding the perfect pass, and his distribution. And like you say, Alex, under pressure, that's what impressed me when he was under pressure I mean, they didn't do it a lot, to be fair. Man United didn't high press, but I think it was excellent. I really do. Kieran Trippier, Billy.
I thought it was very good last night again. Yeah, defensively and like what he did against who did he play last? Can't remember who he played last now. Villa.
Yes, it was Villa.
Similar sort of game for me. Just the experience and the nous of him. Just knows where to be and when to be there. He's still great now, even at 34 years of age. I'll give him an 8.5.
8.5. Okay. Alex?
I think 8.5 is fair. I think he's absolutely fantastic at offering another technical outlet. To have Fabian Schär, Kieran Trippier, and then Bruno and Tonali to help build out, we're spoiled. We are spoiled on that side when Kieran Trippier is fit. I think we're getting to that point now where a lot of people are ready to move on from Kieran Trippier. And I think I'd just like to remind people of how good he's been and how lucky we are to have had him at the club.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you don't get... I know that we are very fortunate to have Lewis Hall now, and we will get it almost like he's going to be the new Jedi to kind of, or the new soldier, whatever we want to call him. But Kieran Trippier is just a technical wizard, and he helps us so much build out. And it cannot be understated how good he's been in the last 2 games, I think.
Lots of 8.5s coming in for Trippier from the viewers. I've gone for an 8 for similar reasons you've said, really. I mean, look, I'm worried that Trippier's body is starting to shut down a little bit. We saw him feel his hamstring last night and then eventually come off. He came off against Villa, of course, as well with a knock. However, football and ability is still right up there. I mean, his little cushioned headers back to the goalkeeper. The way we can play out from the back when Trippier's in the side is just incredible.
Yeah. I don't want to lose him. A lot of people are talking about selling him in Jan.
Yeah, I agree.
Why? If Livramento's ever got issues, it means we've got Kieran Trippier to replace him for the remainder of the season. That's fantastic.
With Schär being out next 2 games, I think it's kind of crucial we get him fit for Sunday.
100%.
Look, I'd be happy to keep him, and I think Kieran knows his role now. I think, whereas he's very much back up to Livramento now, but it gives Eddie options and Kieran's experience both on and off the pitch. You know, we've seen what he's like when he doesn't play, when he's warming up on the sideline. He's sort of screaming and shouting at the players. And you know what?
Captain, he's a leader.
What I saw today was a clip of Trippier when Shea gave that ball away just before half time. A very lazy pass with the outside of his boot, of course, which nearly led to a goal. Trippier went over and just patted him on the shoulder and just went like this, you know, just keep your head up, calm down. Let's just see at the half time. That is the kind of leadership that we need on the pitch. And I was really, it was brilliant to see, to be honest, because.
Another thing we forgot, a few people have mentioned in the chat. He tried the Olympico. He did try to score from 2 corners.
The first one nearly went in, to be honest. I mean, Anana did well to get a punch on it, because if he didn't get there, that was in the net. There was nobody else there stopping it. Scotty Vivs has been a member now for 5 months on the channel. Thank you very much for your support, Scotty. He says, I love Pope, but it shows how much we need a ball-playing goalkeeper. Dubes, although not had a lot to do, has impressed. Well, he can only come in and do his best. And that's, for me, exactly what he's doing. He's doing his best. And listen, he's racking up the clean sheets. Now, yes, that is a lot to do with what's in front of him, but it is a back four and a goalkeeper. It's the whole back five are performing really well at the minute.
I think you need to go a bit further than that. I think you need to look at the 6 in front of them who's cutting off the passing names.
Tonali, yeah.
Puts him in sweeper keeping positions, which you can't do.
Yeah, indeed. Good shout. Right, Lewis Hall, Billy.
I'll give him a 9.5. And the only reason why I'm not giving him a 10 is because you give the ball away a couple of times. But nearly an assist. It doesn't count as an assist because it was deflected. Yeah. But the kid's absolutely special. We're running out of superlatives for him.
I know. It's getting very difficult. I mean, if you look back on the player ratings, it's incredible. I'm really looking forward to seeing what he finishes on at the end of the season when we total it all up, what his average has been. Peter's been a member on the channel for 20 months now. Thank you, Peter. I agree with Alex. Dubes was gone for me when he joined Man United. There ain't no comeback from that. I just think people need to let it go. Lewis Hall, Alex.
I'm going to go with a 9. Thought he was sublime, absolutely sublime. Again, 20 years old, and he's putting in prime Kieran Trippier performances week after week. I said this. When did I say this? At the start of December. I'm a little bit concerned now that he's putting in such good performances. If he continues this week on week, we're going to get to about March time, and there's going to be Real Madrid's and Bayern Munich's in the paper. Because it's that good for neutrals watching who don't watch Newcastle all the time. It's ridiculous. He's the fact that the media, all of these, whether it's Carragher or whether it's different people on Sky or Gary Neville, they're all putting Robinson from Fulham as their left back of the season so far. I'm cool with that. They're deluded. They've not watched our club enough. This kid is generational. He's not. Not just elite, I think he's generational. I think he's ridiculous. The stuff he's added to his game and how well he performed in this game and every game in the last 9-10 weeks. He's a freak.
You know what?
He's a freak of nature.
He's got that stocky Real Madrid left back look about him, hasn't he? Like the likes of Marcelo and Roberto.
A few people have just said it. Give him a new contract.
Like a left back.
Hands down.
Absolutely.
Hands down, he needs a new contract because that kid is a freak. Like he's going to be England's left back for many years to come. We need to make sure that we protect all of this nonsense about Isak, and we need to protect Lewis Hall because he's going to be one of the most valuable players in this squad soon.
No doubt about it. No doubt. He's got a 9 from me as well. Like you said, Billy. I mean, how many times can you praise one player? He's so consistent. Absolutely. And the mistakes, if you've noticed, I don't know whether you guys have noticed, but they are becoming less frequent now. When he was giving the ball away quite a few times, but still having an outstanding game. But I think that the mistakes are becoming less frequent now as well.
Which it's not positional mistakes either. It's trying to play the game in the right manner, which is playing football, which occasionally he misplaces a pass, but only while trying to play football.
Yeah, but if he's got the ball as much as he has, he is going to give it away a couple of times. You know what I mean? It's just natural.
We put so much responsibility on him for in possession stuff and build up that of course he's going to lose the ball sometimes
Yeah.
because he's a massive outlet.
Yeah, I agree. Sensible Monica is a new member of the channel. Not sure if that's a renewal or brand new membership, but thank you very much for that. Dan Burn, Bill.
Unique. 10 out of 10 for me. Thought it was absolutely fantastic. Led from the front with fantastic defensive performance. But his passing was really good as well last night. It was cultured as well for a 6'9" bloke, however tall he is. Yeah, it's a really, really good game for him.
He did actually play striker at one stage, Billy, in the first half. You remember? It was incredible.
He steps in sometimes and gets on the press.
Yeah.
But doing things alien to him that Dan Burn is, as I say, he was known as a clogger for years. And now he's playing at this level. I mean, he's too old to play for England, but what a fantastic player. What a fantastic servant he's been.
Yeah. Alex?
10 out of 10.
Okay.
I thought it was absolutely fantastic. He was my pick for man of the match. I think that is Dan Burn's best performance in a black and white shirt. None of this scoring in the box as a flashy centre half. Sorry, Fabian. That was the best centre half performance you're going to get out of somebody like Dan Burn. And he took it to the next level, as Billy said, with his passing as well. He was an outlet himself sometimes, which is not something that Dan Burn is renowned for. Some of a couple of line breaking passes, a couple of switches, so cool under pressure, contributed in the press really well against Diallo. He bailed Fabian Schär out of a couple of situations. He put out fires. He was commanding 6 out of 6 ground duels, 5 out of 8 aerials, 6 clearances. Absolute man mountain. That is what you want your centre half to do at that level. And if we've got Dan Burn playing to this level with Botman ready to come back as well, I think we've got 2 of the best left-sided centre halves in the Premier League. If Dan Burn keeps this up, peak age for centre half as well, if he can mitigate his lack of pace, some of the last-ditch slide tackles were timed to absolute perfection. He would slide, and we would think the chance had gone, and then he'd just hook the ball away. It was literally a perfect centre-half performance for me. 10 out of 10, easiest.
Colin makes a good point, saying Hoyland gave up trying to beat him and moved on to Schär. You pointed that out, actually, in the commentary, Billy, that he moved on to Fabian Schär because he was getting nothing off. Nothing off.
6 out of 6 ground duels. They kept wrestling with him, and they got nothing. Not a stroke.
I've got 9.5. Very much the same reasons as you guys. Very rarely I get a boo off Alex on the player ratings, but there you go. Lots of 9s and 10s coming in for Dan Burn as well.
The funny thing about Dan Burn last night was Harry Maguire when he threw him to the ground and then called him a joke or something.
Yeah.
Well, Harry, that's how you play centre half.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you twat. Right, Fabian Schär, Bill.
Yeah, and in the main, he was really, really good. But that one mistake was just before half time is in my head all the time. I'm going to give him an 8. Without that, it would probably been it would have been higher. But just that little bit of lackadaisical, lazy, hyphenated arrogance that you don't do at centre half, and nearly got caught out for it. But defensively, apart from that, really good.
I've gone 8 again, exactly the same reasons, Billy. I would have gone 9. Possibly a 9.5 had he not done that. It's just that's the type of thing from Fabian Schär that needs to be cut out the game. We were cruising, absolutely cruising to half time, and he made a mistake like that. It's luckily felt to Casemiro, and obviously, the old man couldn't swing his leg well enough to curl it into the corner. But apart from that, he was absolutely solid again. Alex?
I'm going to go for a 7.5.
Boo!
The things that went wrong were in his control. And I think he just needs to have slightly better decision making. His age and his responsibility in the team. He needs to just cut this out. He really does. I get that we're trying to be flashy. Maybe I think he likes it. I think when he sees Tonali and Bruno doing these fancy things and Trippier, I think he really wants to be. He wants to be that guy. And the problem is with Fabian Schär, he's at that point in his career where from certain angles, it looks like a Rolls Royce, and from certain angles, it looks like a Chrysler. And I think he needs to accept sometimes just do the basics right. You are the centre half. It's not the be all or end all if your centre half doesn't get an assist with a super long range putt. Like you don't have to be perfect. And I think he tries to be too often. we just need him to. We've got enough technical quality to break teams down without Fabian playing a Gerrard pass.
Yeah, I think it was a bit of a daft yellow card as well, guys, to be honest.
A little bit, yeah.
I thought it was unfortunate. I don't think that was a yellow card, to be honest.
Yeah, but there were a few other fouls as well. I think it might have been accumulation more than anything. But yeah, it's 7.5. He was still really competent for most of the game. Just a couple of silly things decision making wise.
By the way, other shite cars are available. Just to let people know that Alex mentioned Chrysler there. We do think that there is a lot of cars out there.
There's that Chrysler sponsorship gone down the drain. Cheers,
absolutely. Paul. Thanks very much. Anyway, Sandro Tonali, Bill.
Straight on to Mark, because he did give the ball away a few times, but in the crucial parts of the game, he linked with Bruno and Joe fantastically.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give him an 8.5, which seems a bit low for Sandro of late, but that's what I'm scoring him.
I mean, 8.5 still is still a very good performance. Alex,
I'm going to go for 7.5. I thought he was really, really good with a lot of things and a little bit sloppy with others. Lost the ball. I think it was 2. It might have been 3 times in kind of dangerous areas.
Mm-hmm.
I think yesterday was a really good example of why we've been talking about Tonali playing on his own as a 6 with no support. He can struggle under pressure. And me and Billy talked about this last night on the Patreon. There were a few moments when he received the ball and there were players around him and he couldn't handle it and he did lose it a few times.
Yeah,
that's the kind of thing where Bruno doesn't as often. They both do it. So there were a couple of examples of why Bruno's been tasked to help with build-up. Bruno does drop back to help Tonali with that first phase. Tonali is not the sole person who does the build-up. He won't. It's always a bit of a 1-2, and we saw that a lot last night. So yeah, 7.5 because he did really well. Was really unlucky not to score. Link-up play, build-up, so fantastic. And his physicality as well is so good. He's like he's a blend between Joe Linton and Bruno. He's somewhere in the middle, best of both worlds. But we saw a couple of things. In the duels, he was only 1 out of 7 duels, which is quite poor. So there were a few. You could see some of the weaknesses in his game, but he still had a fantastic game.
He's not going to be 10 out of 10 every game, is he? No. I mean, Ian.
Everybody's got weaknesses.
Ian Toon Trader says, "Nutmeg and the ref was worth a 10 for me."
That was funny because that was pure instinct. That was great.
It was. I've given him an 8. And again, I think he did give the ball away a few times. He was a bit, but he's still just an elite footballer. And since he's come into the team playing that role, we have looked so much better. Without Tonali, it's night and day as to how we perform, and you just have to love him. Bruno, Billy.
Well, in all the years of football being played at Old Trafford, competitive football, you've seen some fantastic midfield players. You've not seen one as good as Bruno Gomes did last night.
Yeah,
he completely dominated that game for half an hour, and then second half when we dropped back defensively, it was absolutely astonishing. 10 seems low, even though you can't give any higher. He was fantastic. He really was.
It seems low.
The captain of Newcastle United, and he's the best midfield player I've seen playing in Newcastle shirt.
Yep. So I'd say you're going for a 10, Billy.
100%.
Okay. Alex?
Yeah, I think that's a fair shout. He assisted in every aspect of the game. Creativity. He helped babysit Tonali where it was necessary. He helped build up with Tonali. He was spraying it out left and right. He won the ball back to start several attacks. He started several of the goals. And then late on, his legs went to jelly after about 75, 80 minutes. And he just didn't care. He kept making sort of gut-busting runs, lung, whatever we're calling them. His lungs were hanging out of him. He was just absolutely just intent on winning the ball back, regardless of who it was. That there were players that were so much faster than him, and he just didn't care. He was like, "I'm going for this anyway." He's just I don't even know how to describe him. It's an easy 10 out of 10. He's like a terrier, isn't he? He's like it's like an exotic terrier that just will not stop.
A technical terrier.
He's got all the traits of a warrior holding midfielder, defensive combative midfielder, but loads of flair as well. And it's just such a weird combination. You just don't see it very often in world football. He's such a unique player. And it's easy 10. The fact that there were so many of the away fans constantly singing Bruno, especially when Bruno Fernandes was sat watching.
Yeah,
no shadow of a doubt now who the real Bruno is in the Premier League. I think that's closed the door on that chapter, whether it's even a debate anymore.
Yeah, Andy H says, did anyone see the City YouTube channel? Can't remember the name, but waxing lyrical about Bruno.
There's a few players saying they've got to throw the checkbook at him to get him because they need a midfield. No, I'm afraid he's ours.
Yeah. 10 from Len as well. 10 across the board for Bruno. Absolutely superb performance. Just the guy is just fantastic. And just incredible. He is literally incredible. And I agree with Billy. I've seen a lot of midfielders for Newcastle United over my time supporting them. And I've seen some shit, by the way, in the middle of the park for Newcastle. But I've also seen some very, very good players. And I used to think, Johan Kabay for me, again, stood out by a mile as one of the top ones I've seen. But this guy, just different animal completely. My mouse has died. I'm not sure why. Oh, there it is. It's working again.
Must be Old Trafford.
Yeah. Nick Thornton says, if Isak is 150 million, then Bruno is at least 180. I mean, you just can't put a price on some of these players.
You can't afford him. Nobody can afford him. He's peak age, top of his game, and he's our captain.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to give several arms and legs to get Bruno out of Newcastle right now.
Yeah. 1,500 people watching for a tea time show. Thank you so much, guys. That is incredible. Please do hit the subscribe button, of course, if you're new to the channel. It really, as we want to build, and we want to build as quickly as we can, and with your help, we will. We hit 34,000 only a couple of days ago, and now we're heading towards 35 already. It's incredible. So thank you very much. Please keep subscribing and hit the notification bell so you never miss a show or an upload. And please give us a like if you're enjoying tonight's or this afternoon's match review. Joe Linton, Billy.
Yeah, I'm going to follow up with a 10 for Joe Linton. I thought he was bloody brilliant again.
Yeah,
and he's got the physicality we know he had, but some of the things he did with the ball at his feet last night were astonishing.
Yeah,
the build up to Tonali's post hitting thing, he lost control of the ball, but managed to fall over and play a crisp pass to Bruno next to it, or was it Tonali? Maybe Tonali, but what a pass it was! And Joe Linton's not just that big, bulky monster of a midfielder. He's got such deft feet as well. He's a fantastic footballer. 10 out of 10 again.
Yeah, 10 from me. I just seen a comment go through there from Yvonne saying, sexist comment coming up. I love his legs, or I love his thighs, one of the two. I mean, wouldn't it be different if we were to comment on some of the ladies' team with legs and stuff? I mean, would we get hurled abuse at? Well, I'm definitely not going there. I'm just saying, does it work both ways? Anyway, Joe Linton, 10 from me. Absolutely super performance. Just brilliant. And his goal, yes, it came off the his shoulder or bottom of his shoulder, but he completely destroyed Martinez going for that ball. Martinez really didn't want to know. He saw Joe Linton coming in and he thought, I'm not having any of this. Supposedly the butcher, the butcher has turned into a vegetarian very quickly. Alex, Joe Linton.
Yeah, I think the overall performance was probably around a 9, but I'm going to bump it to the 10 because he got the goal as well. And it's consistent now. He's actually contributed with a lot of important goals so far this season. Yeah. He's got a fair amount of goals from midfield. He's dragged us through games at times. That important goal at Southampton as well. But as Billy said, he was sort of throwing his weight about, but then still getting the final touch to get the ball out to a black and white shirt when it mattered. It was really important. And he's just... Could he be slightly technically better? I mean, yeah, but I don't think it matters. I think to have a balance of what we've got, he's the powerhouse.
I think the physicality plays with, Alex. I think the physicality he plays with and the technical ability that he has got, I think makes him what he is.
It's enough. Yeah. It's enough. And it's the versatility. I think it really helps us, the fact that Joe Linton's played as a striker, as a left winger, left mid, centre half. He's filled in at left back. He's so versatile that when we're having a go at these sort of attacking patterns, Joe Linton he knows how to assist the midfield in certain ways, but he's really competent if he needs to go join on that left-hand side and be an out-and-out attacker and sort of arrive late into the box and be a physical presence to try and score. He's got so many different weapons. Yeah, 10 out of 10. He's brilliant. Our balance in our midfield is so good at the moment. Yeah. I mean, I think the only midfield that maybe came close was Villa's midfield on paper. And I mean, we settled that score literally last week because they overran them quite comfortably. So yeah. I don't think there's a better midfield. I don't think there's a better complete midfield three in the Premier League right now.
Andy H has become a new member of the channel. Thank you, Andy, and welcome to Members Club. Thank you for your support. Jacob Murphy, Billy.
A different kind of performance from Jacob. Very disciplined one. Sometimes he was deeper than Kieran Trippier even.
Yeah.
In defending, but not as kind of attacking as what he has been, or not. I think Dalla did a good job on him for the first, even in the half an hour where we were dominant. I think Dalla did a good job on him. Mm-hmm. But for the defensive stuff and occasionally some decent stuff further up the pitch, 7.5.
Okay. Alex,
I'm going to go for an 8. I think his role was so. It's not one of the ones that's going to get front page, back page. He's not going to get all the plaudits, but it was so important. It's a stop in their width, and it's a very selfless performance from Jacob Murphy. I think he gets an 8 for that. He's had a lot of fun recently with being that last man and being the width and on the last sort of shoulder of the opposition and using his pace and getting lots of opportunities. Whereas yesterday, he was tasked with a job and he executed it really, really well. He's a coach's dream because he'll just do what you want him to do.
Yeah, I've given him a 7, but for very similar reasons as you guys have given him. 7's still a very good score when you consider the defensive work he did. But going forward, I wanted to see a little bit more. But I understand the role he had to play yesterday, and I agree with Billy. I think Dalot marked him out the game very, very well in the first 20 minutes when we were on top. There was a few times he got past Dalot, but then Dalot recovered and stopped him. So, but still very important cog in the wheel of the victory yesterday. Anthony Gordon, Billy.
Very much back to his best, isn't he? Assist for Joe Linton's goal. Again, Mazraoui, he had him on toast. And that move that he made on Mazraoui, where he ran past him, caught him up, went past him, and then flicked it with the outside of his right boot inside him and went inside him.
Yeah.
A phenomenal bit of play.
Yeah.
I'll give him a 9.5.
Okay. Alex?
Yeah, I think 9.5 was fair. His defensive running was just ridiculous. There were a couple of times where Lewis Hall was caught up because it was just part of what we were doing in that moment, and Anthony Gordon was just there. They couldn't stop him. He was everywhere. I think anybody who even ventured near that right-hand side for Manchester United, our left-hand side, just would have been sick of the sight of his hair. Both of them, just Hall and Gordon, just seeing flashes of blonde, regardless of where you are on that side, just everywhere. Billy was so spot on. That first touch, it was almost like an offbeat touch. He played it. You're kind of looking at people's feet and hips, and you're tracking left foot, right foot, and steps, and you're trying to time your jockeying and your tackle. And he just did sort of an offbeat and off-step little move and just ran straight around him. And he got no idea what had happened to him. He just got absolutely murdered and put on the spot. And he's definitely... That's creative football from Anthony Gordon. That's what you want from a winger, to try little interesting things like that. Because there's so many wingers in the league that will just go step over, and pick a side. And it gets so predictable, so boring. But Anthony Gordon's really enjoying his football and really enjoying wing play as well. And the cut back on the right foot for the cross has got to be...
both crosses for our goals were absolutely superb.
Well, let's not forget, a lot of people got hammered. A lot of people were hammering the inverted wingers, saying, we need to get early crosses in. It's so important. We need to play more old school. We hate this inverted winger nonsense. I mean, that was from a right-footed cross. He cut back, waited for the players to arrive. It if you've got the right players, it works really well. That was a good demonstration of how you can still score from crosses with inverted wingers. It works really nicely.
Yeah. 9.5 for me as well across the board. I thought he's looking so much back to his best. He's looking happy on the pitch. And what I really liked yesterday was when Xerxes came off, Gordon patted him on the shoulder, which was nice to see, because I think even though he was an opposition player, I think professionals know how hard it is coming off after half an hour.
Oh, I think that happened to him at Everton. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So I really like that as well. Isak, Bill.
10 out of 10. Yeah.
Okay.
The 3 Manchester United centre halves had no idea what to do with it. And he out physical Martinez, which is, I guess, it's like out physicaling a cup scout, but still he did it.
Yeah.
Got a goal. Maybe should have had another one. Outstanding finish for the offside goal, which was just phenomenal, really. His all-round play was fantastic last night. So they weren't getting the ball off him. Simple as that. It was one of them days where you knew that Isak was in the mood, and we saw it tonight.
I've got 9.5. I mean, the one-on-one, I just think, bury that, the game's over. It's completely gone. And I think he needs to do better on one-on-ones. But apart from that, some of his dribbling, I think he De Ligt, I think, went in for a tackle, and De Ligt I think he's still sliding now. He totally did him, cut inside. That his skill is just breathtaking at times when he's up for it, and clearly he was up for it again last night, and could have had more. But 9.5 for me. Alex?
Yeah, I'll go for 9.5 as well. There were a few moments where he got up to speed, and just those lanky legs, just left, right, cut back, and just they couldn't get the ball off him. When he's in that mood, he was in that Sweden mood where he does that for the national team sometimes. There's a bit more responsibility on him. He was really enjoying himself, and I think the only limitation yesterday for Alexander Isak was himself. I think I think he knows that. I think he was frustrated with himself on some of the misses. He had a hat-trick in him yesterday. I think it was down to him. I don't think the centre halves of Manchester United could have stopped it. I think it was just if he was in a slightly better mood, he could have had a hat-trick. And he knows it. He knows
Robin makes a really good comment, Alex, saying he thinks Isak's his brain is faster than his legs sometimes.
Well, possibly.
I just think he wants to play with flair. And he was trying to make Onana look stupid when he was trying to chip him. And unfortunately, Onana made him look stupid because he stood up.
But I think it's really important to remember he's only 25. I think he's 25 and like 3 months old. So we've got, we might get better than this out of him. And to think that he could get any better is just ludicrous. And I truly believe he could have had a hat-trick yesterday. The only thing that could have stopped it is himself. I think if he had the right hat on, they couldn't do anything about it. He's one of those players.
Yep. Just to serve, thank you for your super chat. He says Dubravka deserves a 1-year contract extension. I don't think Alex will agree with you on that one, but let's swiftly move on to the substitutes. Who came on?
So it was, first one was Valentino Livramento for Mr. Kieran Trippier on the 58th minute.
Okay, so Livramento, Bill?
I think he was better than what he's been of late. I thought defensively he had Garnacho in his pocket, as he always does. But going forward, he looked really good as well and confident on the ball. Some nice little touches, nice little flick passes. Kept the ball, didn't give it away. Yeah, I'm going to give him an 8, even though he's on the pitch for 20 minutes?
Yep. Alex?
I think an 8's fair. I think he had to be really, really focused, and he didn't make any mistakes. We needed to see out the sort of final half an hour because Manchester United were trying to get just a goal to try and get themselves back into that game. And he did really well. He only misplaced 2 passes, 19 out of 21. Really, really solid.
Who was next on?
It was Harvey Barnes and Joe Willock on the 85th minute. So they only got just shy of 10 minutes.
Should we just go 6s?
Give them 7s. We beat Man United.
Oh, it's 7s. Yeah, that's a bit harsh. 6s,
and a couple of moves. I think Barnes picked up the ball on the left. Couldn't quite do anything with it in the box. I don't remember Willock doing too much.
He did some good defensive stuff, Willock.
Yeah, he did. There's a couple of tackles he made. He
tackled Garnacho at one point, didn't he?
He did. Right, manager Eddie Howe, Bill?
Easy 10 I'll give again. Go to Old Trafford, beat them 2-0, flat as Man United. Play with a style and panache that we haven't seen much of this season until the past 4 or 5 weeks. Yeah, I'm going to give him 10 out of 10.
Alex?
Yeah, 10 out of 10. The fact that he's had to deal with losing Nick Pope, and it's no surprise. This is definitely Eddie Howe's influence and instruction, because we had a period of time last year where Dubravka came in and we were so leaky and there was so many issues with that side, and we've got 4 clean sheets in a row. The turnaround is ridiculous. I appreciate that he's now got Tonali to use. He didn't have Tonali as an option. We were literally the walking wounded. We had to fast track Miley in to try and mitigate, and it wasn't enough. So yeah, fine. He's got more weapons to try and stop that now.
Yeah.
But yeah, to go to Old Trafford and to so comfortably tactically outshine the opposition manager. And again, they are so lucky that we weren't 4-0 up after half an hour, because it very well could have been. Yeah,
right, let's take a look at what the viewers have voted for player of the match. So it was out of Dan Burn, Joe Linton, Bruno, and Lewis Hall. What do you reckon, guys?
I think it probably should be Bruno, but no, I wouldn't be surprised if it was Dan Burn.
So who are you going for,
Yeah,
Billy?
I mean,
you've got to give an answer.
Bruno was the entertainer, but I think Dan Burn was... Dan Burn was mine.
Because Dan Burn's kind of novel on the list as well. I'm going to say Dan Burn as well.
Okay, the winner of the viewers' player of the match was Bruno. 35% of the votes went to Bruno. Second was Lewis Hall with 33% of the votes. And then tied are Dan Burn and Joe Linton, both on 16%. So there you go.
I think Dan Burn's influence in that match is massively understated. I think he was so important.
Well, I mean, it's just incredible. Do you know what? It showed me level on 16%. And then when I've ended the vote, it's moved Joe Linton to 15 now. So whatever. Anyway, Billy, would you like to give us a little bit of a sing song going into New Year for what you did at the end of the show yesterday?
Yeah,
I think we should all. Well, I think we should do it now, Billy, just as a message to our Man United friends. Okay. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. You've seen United now fuck home. You've seen United now fuck home.
You've seen United now fuck home.
Can I just say as well,
yes,
as we are coming to the end of 2024, thank you very much for everybody who joins in on the Patreon and supports us and listens and comments, and we do very much appreciate it, and we do plan to try and get some more content out to you when possible. So thank you very much for all of your support this year.
Yeah, that is the end of the show, folks. Listen, I just want to say before we go, thank you so much for all of your support throughout 2024. This channel has grown massively in the last 12 months, and hopefully that will now continue into 2025. The subscriber count's going up, the views are going up. Obviously, people are very happy with what we're doing. There's going to be more stuff coming in the new year. Plan on doing a morning news show live, which will be called Breakfast Toon instead of Breakfast Time. See what I did there? You know. Bollocks to you. Anyway, that's what's coming. We'll be doing more stuff as well. So we will keep the news shows coming for you. All the live shows on the night time, obviously the commentaries, etc., etc. But thank you so much, everybody. We really mean that for your support this year. Joe Wilkinson, thank you for your super chat. Happy New Year to all the TTR family. Thank you very much. Seriously, though, you've been massive help to get this channel to where it is. And then hopefully we can keep the good shows coming for you that you'll enjoy watching into 2025. We, of course, in very early next year, have Deadline Day, our charity special, which will be starting at 11 a.m. all the way through till 11 p.m., of course. We just fell short of the $5,000 target last year, or last Deadline Day. Let's see if we can hit the $5,000 to this coming Deadline Day. Billy's arse is prepared.
Transfer shows as well. This is where I am.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Billy's arse is getting masseured as we speak every day in preparation. But there will be plenty transfer shows coming up because there is going to be links to players left, right, and centre, to be fair. But thank you very much for today. Thank you for your memberships, your super chats, mods. You've been fantastic throughout the year. Couldn't do without you. You are absolute angels in disguise. Just brilliant. Thank you so much for everything you've done. And of course, to Billy, Alex, and Lady Sam, thank you for being colleagues of mine throughout the year. I love you very, very dearly. And long may this continue into the new year and many moons to come as well. But thank you very much for watching, guys. Have a fantastic night tonight, whatever you're doing, whether you're staying in, you're going out. But I hope you all stay safe, welcoming in 2025. And of course, we will be back very soon. But in the meantime, have a fab night, guys. Happy New Year to everybody. Take care.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Come back and check out some breathing.